All right, so Mr. Dogon, what do you think about Dwayne the Rock Johnson being your next president of the United States? Because
Well,
if the comments that he made with Trevor Noah are true, he was approached by people about running for president because they thought that it was a realistic chance for him to win. So we thought that this was interesting. We go ahead and talk about it a little bit on the channel. So check this out. This is The Rock and the fact that there were political parties, multiple, that were interested in him running for president.
interesting.
So this says it came out of the blue. Dwayne Johnson says political parties were actually interested in him running for president. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse Ventura have been governors, and a former reality TV show host. Uh, Let me start over. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jesse Ventura have been governors, and a former reality TV show host was once president of the United States. There's no question that being a celebrity can really help if you have aspirations for political power. And while Dwayne The Rock Johnson has said he has no plans, at least right now, to run for office, apparently both major parties have discussed the possibility with him. A few years back, a poll was released that said that a lot of people supported the idea of Dwayne Johnson running for president of the United States. Back in mid 2022, Johnson said he would consider running for office if that was really what people wanted. Speaking with Trevor Noah on Noah's What Now podcast, Johnson says that statement brought both major parties to his door to discuss the possibility. Johnson explained, that was an interesting poll that happened, and I was really moved by that. I was really blown away and I was really honored. I'll share this little bit with you. At the end of the year in 2022, I got a visit from the parties asking me if I was going to run and if I could run. The Rock running for office would certainly mean fewer Dwayne Johnson movies for a while, especially if he were to actually win. But it sounds like a lot of voters may be cool with that. Numerous Hollywood celebrities have used their celebrity to run for office over the years at various levels. In addition to Schwarzenegger and Ventura, Clint Eastwood was the mayor of Carmel, California. Matthew McConaughey has expressed some interest in running for governor of his home state of Texas. Part of the reason that both parties came to visit Johnson may be that it's unclear if he were to run, what party he would run under. Johnson was reportedly a registered Republican in the past, but is currently registered independent. He endorsed the Biden Harris campaign in 2020, the first time he had ever publicly endorsed a candidate. He continued, it was a big deal and it came out of the blue. It was one after the other, and they brought up that poll, and they also brought up their own deep dive research that would prove that should I ever decide to go down that road, I'd be a real contender. It was all very surreal because that's never been my goal. My goal has never been to be in politics. As a matter of fact, there's a lot about politics that I hate. So, uh, The Rock, WWE, and Fast and Furious, Central Intelligence, all these movies he's been in, Jumanji, and you can add President of the United States to his lengthy resume. If he were ever to go down that road, apparently there is some belief that he has a real legit chance to win. Um, I think that this is funny, but what do you think about this?
I agree. Full disclosure here, I do not participate in presidential elections. All right, so full disclosure here. So for one, I give nothing but satire is due to the fact that, well, I feel like the whole political process is satire. So, with that being said, if I were voting, well, I would vote for The Rock. That's how much it works. Like, why wouldn't I want The Rock to be my president? So I like the concept, and I think that he would win. I think he would win convincingly if he were to run for either party. That's how much it doesn't matter. Yeah, I agree. I think whoever approached him on either side, I think they saw some good stuff, some analytics, maybe some, I don't know, and some good stuff because he fits the mold of a good president. I'm surprised he hasn't played one in the movie yet. So Yeah, I stand by that, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this as well. Now, I think the now George Bush, the 2000 Bush. Okay, that guy was an idiot, right? And I think, and everybody can look back and okay, that guy was an idiot. I would say the last president that was actually like being like a president to me was Clinton. Then Bush was a joke, and everything else after that more or less was a joke. All right. Now I'm going somewhere with this. So when we hit the Obama stride, that was absolutely perfect. And Obama was the best. He was the best presidential candidate I've ever seen. He said everything the right way. I mean, he was charismatic. He had all the qualities. He had the family. Everything was just great. Barack Obama, hell of a name. I mean, it was just perfect. And then you have to look and see, well, all right, I've done some research on Barack. And dealing with Barack, he was definitely groomed for the position. I'll say that. And he was groomed to be a great actor, is my point. Hell, even Reagan used to be an actor. When you're dealing with being president of the United States, in my opinion, you're dealing with somebody who's an excellent figurehead, one that gives you the illusion of authority, one that gives you the illusion of decision-making abilities, one who can deliver a speech when a tragedy happens, one that when there's a natural disaster, they look the part, shake the hands and kiss the babies. So they have to have this aura about themselves that people look at as humble, noble, and all these other great qualities. All right. And so one thing about Barack Obama, he did that. He stepped into that role. Hell of an actor in my book. then I was like, okay, well, who's going to be the next Obama? I'm like, those are hard shoes to fill. Like, who's going to be able to distract us as much as Obama did? I mean, as soon as anything was going on, tragedy in America, here you go doing the electric slide, and everybody forgets. So I was like, now who's going to be able to do that? Well, then in comes Trump, who's also being groomed for his position. Trump, amazing actor, amazing at trolling the American public. It was great television. If there's anything going on, Trump was going to go ahead and distract the hell out of everybody. Whether you was a Trump supporter or a Trump hater, he was perfect for the job because he kept everybody talking about stuff that wasn't really politics. It's brilliant. So now we got this guy Joe in there, and he's dropping the ball. I mean, I think they really ran out of options. So then we get Joe Biden in there, who's clearly in dementia stage in his life. He doesn't know what's going on, and he talks like it. And at this point, it's become very apparent that the American TV show sucks. So we need somebody in there, 2024, Kanye. So just give me a celebrity and just make it entertaining, because we all know that Joe Biden is not doing any policy anyway. As I always say, he can't even find his pants. So who's really running the country right now? The same people that's going to run the country if The Rock was in there, if Trump was in there, or anybody else, Doja Cat. Just pick somebody they'll pick somebody that's entertaining. So I want a good show up there. That's all I'm saying. I feel like this country is going to go in whatever direction it's going to go in, regardless. But how do you feel about this, sir? How do you feel about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Miami alum, being a president of the United States of America.
As someone who does still hold out hope for humanity, at least a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, I would have to think long and hard about whether I would actually take this seriously or not. It would depend on who the other people were. That is what I would use to determine how seriously I am taking this in terms of whether I'm going to vote for this guy or not, The Rock. But I will say this though. I largely agree with your overall take about the president of the United States being a figurehead and less about it being about policy, because clearly we know that this office is less about policy and it's more about identity.
Right.
It's why people, and I've said this before, if there was a candidate who had the best plan for getting the country back into an economic surplus, keeping us out of war, um, getting rid of the debt, the things that actually matter, the economy, ironclad economic plan, so that you know wages and things like that can be raised at a level that is commensurate with inflation, things like that, the things that actually matter, keeping people out of destitution and poverty, keeping us out of war, you know what I'm saying, lowering the debt. If there was a candidate who had an ironclad plan for all this stuff, but let's say he, you know I don't know, didn't want to do transgender bathrooms, right? So let's say that he was against having same-sex transgender bathrooms, or he was against trans athletes performing in sports with other athletes that are of the sex that they were assigned at birth, goofy stuff like that, right? Let's say that he was not married. Let's say that he was a single guy, no wife, no kids. These weirdo things that people care way too much about. People would vote for the president who had all that other stuff going on, but had a shitty economic plan, had a plan that was going to get us into war and conflict, and had a plan that was going to raise the deficit even higher. These idiots out here in this country would vote for the identity candidate before they voted for the candidate who would actually do well with the stuff that they care about. So we know this for I'm well past caring about thinking that that's not true. That's 100% true. These people in this country have lost their minds when it comes to this stuff. They truly have. It's all about identity stuff. And so my thing with The Rock is, what I can't take away from him is, if you look at his business practices, he's exhibited good judgment. His movies haven't been totally horrible. He's chosen wisely when it comes to his business ventures. He's got his tequila, he's got his production company, he's got the energy drink, he's got something else that he's doing, the XFL. He's trying to revive the XFL, and all of these things seem to be trending towards success. That tells me that he has good decision makers around him who can inform him on how to make the right decision, which further lets me know that maybe he can put his good decision making when it comes to selecting good people to insulate him to good use when it comes to this situation, so that he can have people around him who can help him come up with the best plan to do the right thing when it comes to all the things that actually matter, and to keep him out of the ring of fire when it comes to all of the goofy stuff that gets people caught up in career suicide. Like, getting caught, I don't know, cheating on your significant other, or saying something unbecoming towards LGBTQ people, or saying something unbecoming within a racial context, all that goofy stuff that I frankly don't care about, honestly. All I care about is the money, the economics, no wars, no deficit. I think that that's the stuff that's the most important. And I think that what makes a good president, in my limited knowledge of how this stuff works, is the ability to insulate yourself around people who know how to do their job. And I think that your ability to do that is contingent upon you having good decision making skills. And I would have to infer from his decision making thus far in his career in entertainment that he has a somewhat of a good intrinsic way to make good choices. And so from that standpoint, I would have to at least take it moderately seriously. But I would also juxtapose it to whoever it is that he's going against. And I would just make my determination therein. But him being an actor or a former wrestler, to me, is irrelevant, because it's not unprecedented. There have been actors who have been in politics before. As you said, Reagan was an actor, he was a president. So who cares about any of that stuff? I'm just looking for whether somebody can make good decisions, and I think that that's been the mark between people who suck at this stuff and people who don't. Not that it's a high bar to meet because it's largely been people who suck, but what are you going to do? That's what politics is. It's largely a game of people who, it's a race to see who can suck the most, quite frankly. And so maybe he would finish at the top in terms of someone who would be last to finish in terms of sucking the most. And sad as that may seem, as bleak as that may seem, as cynical as that may seem, it makes it worth consideration.
Yeah, and but I would just say the mere fact that both political parties approached him, trying to make him a figurehead, basically because he's not involved in politics. Now, this is not running, your local rec center. This is not running, your tri-block area, the housing community. This is the United States of America. So for them to approach him to run for president, where he's not even doing anything political, already suggests to me that just run Rock, just run the Rock Johnson. We'll do the policy for you.
Yeah,
And
right.
and this is how they approach all presidential candidates that eventually become the whatever for the representative for each party.
Yeah.
Now, there's been some qualified candidates that were Republican or whatever, not even getting mentioned because they already picked their dude. There were some Democratic people that were legitimate people, but it didn't matter because they already picked their guy or their gal. And so at that point, they're gonna put in their figurehead person. Now, so they already know this is, like you mentioned, identity stuff. This is a popularity contest at this point. It has nothing to do about policy anymore. So why not get a universally loved bipartisan person when it comes to who loves him? Because I'm pretty sure the spectrum would be ultra liberal people and even conservative people who jive with Rock. So he is a great candidate for a figurehead person. That's why I was also mentioning about the previous generations. They ran out of so many people. They threw Biden in there. They don't have any more of these old politicians that knew the politician game. So now they need to put in anybody, Pete Davidson. And they're just going to, bro, it doesn't matter. They're going to put somebody in there. Yeah, it's going to get to the point where it's honestly, because it's already a joke now. Like, if people aren't laughing at America now, I don't know when they're going to start. So it's already a joke. And to even have The Rock to even be approached by either party, it's already shameful. It's bad enough. It's both. That in itself is a joke. If a country is taking itself seriously, they would not be interviewing The Rock or asking The Rock to be president of the United States. So at that point, that tells me everything I need to know about both of those parties and how they choose to select the candidates they want to represent each party for each election. So I think this is complete. I think this is hilarious. And if they're going to do this, because they have, give me somebody better than Joe. I want a good show. He's boring AF. I'm tired of laughing at old people gasp because that's not even really funny. That's a real life condition that real everyday people have. Dementia is not a joke. So I find it hard to laugh at disabilities. I want to laugh at Bush like I used to. I want to laugh at Clinton like I did. I want a good show. Trump gave me a good show, and Obama gave me a good Cosby Show vibe from whenever something was going. Yeah, whatever. Jay-Z and my iPod. My president's black, everybody going crazy. Like, yeah, that was a movie. I enjoyed that. Give me some more of that, because people just want to feel good and not know politics. So if you give me somebody like The Rock or any other celebrity that got interviewed and not mentioned, give me that person. So give me a good show like every other. I'm speaking for the American public who really think the same way, but that don't know that that's what they want. Hey, give me somebody up there that's gonna give me a good show, and we'll all be happy. Comedians that have something to talk about in they monologues, comedians on whatever have, everybody's gonna have something to talk about. People can't really talk about Joe or Kamala. This is just gross. This is gonna go down like those episodes when you're watching TV and they're doing like a recap episode. It's like this is a waste episode. Yeah, the writers ran out of time. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
So
I
this is
hate
a
those.
yeah, this is a boring episode. I don't want to watch this. I want to fast forward to the next scene. So give me somebody cool. So Kanye, I'm looking in your direction. Dwayne the Rock, reconsider. I want somebody up there that's cool as president. So yeah, man. To me, this is all a joke, to be honest.
Don't think that he's impervious. All he has to do is get caught on social media saying one faux pas thing, and it's a wrap.
Who
So
Rock?
yes, yeah. As beloved as he is, all he has to do is say one thing that pisses off black people, that pisses off gay people, that pisses off trans people, that pisses off women. All he has to do is say one little thing and it's over with. So that's the thing, is it has to be somebody who is popular enough but also is neutered enough that
Yes.
you have a that you can rely on him to not actually express an opinion,
Yes.
him or her, whomever.
Yes.
And The Rock may be that guy, who knows. He doesn't really strike me as overly opinionated, but that's what it's going to take. So as long as it's somebody who is equally popular but also not polarizing, then it's a good mix. That's why Kanye wouldn't work, because he
Right.
will say something that's going to piss somebody off. As much I would love the chaos. I would love the chaos. It was part of the charm. It was part of the charm for me behind Donald Trump becoming president, was just watching the chaos ensue, because
Right.
he really had people arguing over this stuff.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's no actual policy taking place. Y'all just fighting over what he said about grabbing a woman's crotch, or some of his other gaffes, because y'all really care this much about this stuff that doesn't really mean anything. And I don't know if the whole if The Rock doesn't have that kind of thing in him, but he's liked enough, he can get in there. But trust and believe, in this day and age, all you got to do is just say something that somebody from one of these groups can even remotely interpret as moderately offensive, and it'll be over with, because it doesn't take much. It really doesn't. So
Yeah.
he's not above reproach, but maybe if he plays the long game, he'll be able to sidestep stuff like that. But yeah, if you are an individual who has an opinion and furthermore likes to express that opinion, I don't think those people make it in politics, let alone the president, because an opinion is just going to be offensive to someone somewhere. It's inevitable. You can't help it. People can't help themselves. They need to be offended by something. So, as long as The Rock knows that he can't offend people unless he tries to on purpose, then yeah, maybe this is realistic. Who knows?
Yeah. Hey, he's got my vote. I'll register. I'll register and everything. Just cause. So go ahead, Dwayne. We want to see it.
Yeah, he could be my trainer.
Yeah.
He could definitely be my
Yeah.
trainer.
Yeah.